The first step is to download your pattern. Select your file according to your paper format and the size you wish to make. Print your pattern at 100% scale. There is a scale test included on the first page of your pattern to ensure you have printed correctly. Trim around the thin black border and use clear sticky tape to piece the pages together. There is a layout included in the instruction guide to help you lay out all the pages correctly. Trim around each individual pattern piece and lay the pattern onto the fabric. You can follow the cutting layout included in the instructions to make the most economical use of your fabric. Cut according to the individual instructions marked on each of the pieces. For this pattern, I have also added a medium weight fusible interfacing to the main fabric. This will give the garment more structure and make it easier to sew. Place the centre front and side front piece together with the right sides touching one another. Pin along the curved edge, matching the notches along the way. Stitch together using a 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance and repeat for the other side. Then, you'll repeat this for the lining pieces. You'll now have a pair of front cups for the lining and the main. Fold the strap piece in half lengthways with the right sides touching one another. Stitch along the long edge with a 6mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. Use a safety pin or a loop turner to turn the straps through to the right side. Press the straps well and then repeat for the other side so that you have a pair of straps. Match the straps up with the main cup pieces. The seam of the strap should be towards the centre of each of the cups. Pin in place along the strap edge to secure it in place. Using your sewing machine, stitch it in place. Stitch within the seam allowance, about 6mm or a 1/4 inch from the top edge. Place the lining piece on top of the main pieces with the right sides touching one another. Stitch along the outer edges using a 6mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance, but we'll be leaving the bottom edge open so that in the next step we can turn both of the cups through to the right side. Stitch using a 6mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once stitched, turn each of the cups through to the right side and give them a really sharp press around the edges with the iron. Match the back waistband pieces to the front waistband piece along the short side seam. Stitch each side using a 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. Then repeat for the other set of waistbands so that you have a pair of waistbands sewn together at the side seams. Pin the cut pieces to one set of the waistband pieces, matching up at the notches along the way. Up should meet directly at the centre notch. Stitch both cup pieces to the waistband using a 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. Pin each of the straps to the back of the waistband. The strap placement is marked on the pattern between the notches. Ensure the strap is not twisted before you stitch it in place. Stitch each into position using a 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. Place the other set of waistband pieces that we had set aside on top of the first set, with the right sides touching one another. Pin along the top edge of the waistband from edge to edge from short side seam to short side seam. Stitch along the top edge only for now, using a 1 cm or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Insert half of your long piece of trim or cord into the short edge of the back waistband piece. Stitch along the short edge, catching the trim using a 6 mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. Pivot and continue stitching along the bottom edge of the back waistband piece. Stitch until you reach the side seams of the waistband. Make sure you repeat this for both sides. Stitch using a 6 mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. Pull on the cord to turn the waistband through to the right side. Trim the cord at the short end of the back tie as close as possible to the seam to remove it. Make sure you repeat this for the other side of the waistband so that both sides are now done. Fold the seam allowance of the bottom edge of the waistband under by 6 mm or 1/4 of an inch. Press this well with the iron. And then, using a hand sewing needle, stitch between the side seams of the front piece to secure the edge. All the raw edges will be up inside the waistband now and be completely hidden and internal.